questions. Dr. Exner-Pirot, I invite you to make an opening statement of up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members of the committee, for inviting me to testify on this important topic. I interpret the study as assessing whether particular subjective or ideological considerations are distorting the type of research being pursued and funded in Canada today. I share my perspective as someone who has been a principal applicant, co-applicant, and collaborator on several successful as well as unsuccessful SSHRC grants. In addition, I spent several years in administrative positions at the University of Saskatchewan in roles that could be described as DEI focused with regard to Indigenous education programs and initiatives. But as a senior fellow at a think tank, rather than a faculty member at a university, perhaps I may provide an outside observer's perspectives on the ideological bias that has permeated our research systems as someone who neither needs nor wants to conform to it anymore. It has become the trend in recent years for research funding programs and faculty hiring processes to require applicants to describe their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI principles. As the SSHRC website states, DEI principles must be integrated into research design. This can occur in different ways, such as through intersectional analysis, gender-based analysis plus, anti-racist and anti-ableist approaches, and disaggregated data collection. The University Affairs website provides guidance to prospective academics on drafting DEI statements. It suggests that if you're new to thinking about DEI and haven't considered how multiple overlapping systems of privilege or oppression may shape your point of view, consider pursuing some training. And furthermore, if you've not engaged in anti-racist service or research, think deeply about why you haven't engaged in these activities and what blind spots you may have because of your lack of engagement. I don't imagine many people are against diversity, inclusion, and equity in principle. I personally am not. But if I may quote Harvard Law School Professor Randall L. Kennedy, the diversity statement regime leans heavily and tendentiously towards varieties of academic leftism and implicitly discourages candidates who harbor ideologically conservative dispositions. As MLI Senior Fellow and Associate Professor in Political Science at the University of Guelph, Dave Snow has written in The Hub, there are currently several SSHRC funding streams that invite research that subscribe to a particular worldview to the exclusion of others. These include grants to study shifting dynamics of privilege and marginalization, and the Race, Gender, and Diversity Initiative. I do not intend to make a straw man of the various research streams that our agencies fund, nor imply that good research is neither conducted nor supported. I do not intend to mock or undermine the objectives of inclusivity, diversity, and equity. But the phenomenon of DEI has, in my opinion, that of many others, gone too far in narrowing and directing the kinds of research pursued in Canada to the exclusion of many other worthy avenues of research. My own think tank, the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, has evaluated the ideological bias in Canadian universities. I know you've heard from Professor Dummett. They found that in a survey conducted by Leisure, 88% of professors identified as left-leaning versus only 12% on the right, clearly not representative of the political leanings of the Canadian public. South of the border, this has led to pushback in several prominent universities, including Harvard, MIT, and most recently the University of Michigan, no longer require diversity statements for faculty members during hiring or promotion. Several right-leaning states have banned DEI programs at state-funded universities. If I may conclude on a personal note, my own research has often focused on Indigenous and Northern development, human security, and resource extraction, and I have co-authored many op-eds, peer-reviewed papers, and edited volumes with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit colleagues. Ostensibly, these are encouraged topics. However, I've often felt that the kinds of questions I'm interested in and the conclusions I draw do not fit into the conventional Canadian academic space. I think many people like me have been excluded or have selected to work in the private sector, consulting, or think tank world because we do not feel at home in universities. I think this self-selection will be demonstrated even more acutely in the emerging generation of Canadian scholars, and that the problem will get worse before it gets better. I do not think this sorting based on a political ideology is desirable, and I do not think it lends itself to research excellence. As our elected representatives, you play an important role in ensuring our federal research funding system reflects the aspirations and needs of our society and economy. I expect it would be difficult to explain and justify the criteria by which some of our research funding is allocated to many of your constituents. I hope your oversight can help recalibrate our research funding models to become more interested in outcomes and processes and maintain a focus on the creation and dissemination of objective, falsifiable research knowledge. Thank you for your attention.